everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Roadshows and Stuff. I'm your host, Doug McLean, here with my partner in rhyme, because we are starting a hip-hop career, Frank Mancina.
What's going on, Doug? How are you?
Good. I'm here in the United States, just south of Canada.
Oh.
And joining you. You are where today, Frank?
I am in a little town called Windsor, Ontario.
Love it. Windsor, Ontario. I believe that is the home of the first nuclear reactor.
Close. It's not, though.
Okay, so
we don't even have a nuclear reactor anywhere close.
Not yet, you don't.
It's true.
Not yet, you don't.
It's true.
Frank, what are we talking about today? I know it's exciting and I know it's engaging.
It is a little thing called frequently asked questions. So we do get a lot of questions. So we want to try to field some of them, in particular, some of the cost questions we've received.
Sure.
Throughout the.
And the idea is that this will kind of be a continuing series. Like we'll have a number of episodes regarding frequently asked questions.
Exactly. Everything from, the vehicle type to pick to interior build outs to logistics. Okay.
We've got something special planned for our diehard listeners who stay until the end of the episode. This segment will only be available if you don't use the fast forward function as you're watching this.
So we're going to implement a stuff section, which we're just going to talk about some random things. So just to keep everyone on their toes. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into this, Frank. Frequently asked question, cost. We're going to go off the cuff today, except for this giant list of notes that I have.
Notes we have. Me too.
So what is the cost of a roadshow in general? What sort of expense are you looking at? What are we going to talk about here?
Yeah, so I guess that is really a loaded question. It's really, how long is a string, right? A string could be a couple inches to thousands of feet, So sure. I think, it's a loaded question, and I think there's multiple different things that are associated with the cost, right?
Sure.
But I think to take it a step back, you kind of have to understand what your goals are. What's your intent? What, is that creating brand awareness? Is it a sample tour?
Sure.
Who's your target audience? What sort of ROI are you looking to, have?
Yeah, we've talked about, being on the sales side, which you and I are. It's kind of our part-time job, if you will, here at the company. We get a lot of requests from smaller, like mom and pop rather type businesses that are so small. And I use the example, we were talking about this yesterday about I remember I got a call from a nice lady who had a hair salon. She had like a 2-chair hair salon, and she wanted to promote her business locally or regionally. And, that probably is not the best. Mobile may not be the best solution for that type of goal. As opposed to like a flyer under a windshield wiper, or just having a small table with a tent and, handing out things at the county fair, like flyers or promotional materials for your business, because there are a lot of expenses involved, which people don't always consider. And oftentimes we steer people in the direction, because of the associated costs, down the path of maybe acquiring their own vehicle and kind of dipping their toe in the pool, if you will. Because it can be a pretty heady experience when you first get started. So what are some of those costs that somebody would be looking at?
Well, there's
starting a mobile program.
Yeah, so there's a few different costs, right? And we typically bucket them into 3 different categories, right? So one is going to be your vehicle, right? So sure. a small little, 20-foot trailer tow behind is going to cost obviously less than a double expandable 53-foot trailer, right? So you have a wide range of costs. Then you have your interior build out, right? You can have something very simple, where you have, if it's a retail client and they're looking to just sell some of their clothing, you can have racks and,
Yeah.
displays, or you can
Slat
have
wall with shelves. Something super
exactly,
simple.
or something like super tech heavy with a LED screen on the interior with, core, something that's all controlled through an iPad, right? So those
Yeah.
are and then you can go down to the nitty gritty too with, the type of flooring, the type of ceiling,
Yeah.
the wall covering, all those things will influence the pricing.
Sure. And that could be a slippery slope too. So you're looking at vehicle number one, which if it's not a self-propelled, in other words, if it's not something like a Sprinter or a box truck type vehicle, you have a tow vehicle. So you have the tow vehicle and the trailer. You have that outfitting cost of what is the experience? What are you showcasing when you get to your event site? And then your operational costs, which people never consider. Your fuel, your insurance, you're out of town. You've now got lodging, any associated permits or DOT requirements that need to be met. It can add up pretty quickly. And like you said, too, it depends on what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. We've had larger clients in the past whose only goal was just brand awareness through social media campaign, or just social media hits or views or whatever else. And they've spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars just in order to do that at one or two locations. But what's the payoff? If you're looking for more of a direct ROI through sales of merchandise, you'd have to have quite a bit of volume if you're a smaller business and move a lot of product just to cover your costs for doing a mobile program on a smaller scale. And like I said earlier, too, that's why we've suggested to a lot of people, hey, maybe look into a used Sprinter or a used tow behind. Use the pickup truck you have now, give it a shot. If you think it's working, if you're generating a lot of interest, then, maybe it's time to step up to the next level a little bit.
And I think a lot of companies will try, I guess, to do that themselves too. And I think it's a great way to kind of understand the whole breadth of a mobile program. And you kind of realize, okay, maybe I should just stick to what I'm good at, and leave it to the experts. But I think some of our clients too, some of which have been on tour with us, really get that appreciation of the whole logistics side of things that some groups will kind of put to the wayside because it's just as important as the vehicle, the build out, so I think you need as much care into that logistics side of things.
It's like what you're saying, it's like varying stages of success for various companies. If you are, say, a hair salon, maybe it's better to reinvest or invest in as strong a website as you possibly can, right? To attract as many people as you can. It's easy to direct people to a website. And then on the flip side of that, we have massive clients, international corporations, who obviously have, really, really good websites that are really have a lot of depth and content, and they're looking to take it to the next level, right? So how do they grow? And that's reaching out to people individually and directly. So mobile can be right at any stage, in business success or trying to make a mark, I guess, in the world and separate yourself from your competitors.
And so I think what we just need to leave people with is that, there's a lot of associated costs with a roadshow, right? And if you go on our website, you could check the different types of vehicles. So you have your everything from tents and Mini Coopers to RVs and double expandables. So you kind of get an idea of what size, what you can fit on the interior, and then the interior build out, right? So there's examples of that, not only on our website, but throughout the internet. And then the logistics side of things, right? So I think people just need to understand those three key points when considering roadshows and implementing them into their marketing strategies.
Sure. I was going to hit on a point too, which I'd forgotten because I think I dozed off for a second during your last few sentences. No offense,
Whoops.
Frank. It was a great guy.
None taken.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I think it's there are so many moving parts and moving pieces, and that's where we come in as a company, really, not to give ourselves a pat on the back or a little bit of a promotional kick here, but we handle all of that for you. It's an all-inclusive price when we operate, and we take care of all the things that people forget about, like procuring permits and the insurance, the event permits, the site fees, contacting individuals that own parking spots for events. It's a lot of work. It can be a lot of work, almost like a full-time gig, even for a smaller campaign.
And we'll definitely get into that during our frequently asked questions.
Part 19 through 36. Yeah. Okay, right. Frank. So that's a fantastic insight into the costs of operating a mobile program, doing a roadshow. So now our first ever segment, our little treat, our carrot at the at the end of the stick. This is our first stuff segment. You ready?
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, Doug has a.
That's me.
Okay, Doug.
Thank you.
Doug Liano has.
Well.
He has a topic that he has not shared with me. So
So here we go. And I'll answer too. Okay. I'll give my own input. So to a similar kind of with a similar vein to what we've been talking about before, what is the greatest all-time fast food sandwich? And not just, not in regards to like sales or popularity, but you personally and why? Now, the criteria doesn't have to be beef, doesn't have to be fish, doesn't have to be chicken, could be any of the above, but it has to be that foundational part of the meal. So the sandwich. So you could talk about, double Whopper with cheese, triple Whopper with cheese, very rarely ordered. So
this stems from our initial pilot of us, Doug and I, talking about the best French fries. Which we had we had great reviews from the executive teams. So
we did. Which is one guy in a storage closet. Yeah. Go ahead, Frank. Let's hear your answer. You gotta justify it.
I got a couple, I guess. My initial fast food is gonna be the single from Wendy's. So that was always a go-to for myself. Going to Wendy's is getting that single with cheese. I don't know if it was because of the marketing behind it, because it's never frozen kind of thing.
But Frank, this is what you have to consider. You're in an imaginary world and every fast food restaurant is right next to each other and you're starving. Yeah. Which one do you pull into and what do you get?
That I would get that.
The single?
I would get the single.
With or without cheese?
With cheese, of course.
Okay. What's on it?
There's cheese, obviously cheese, tomato, I believe ketchup and mustard.
But you don't go off menu. You just get the standard.
I get the standard. Okay. It's either that or the roast beef sandwiches from Arby's. I can throw down about 4 or 5.
Yes. Those are delicious. And I think a study was just released from New England Journal of Medicine saying that those are good for you.
Can't wait to have some at lunch today, though.
Yeah, 10 to 12 a week are what the
just shave it into my mouth.
I'm sure they do that after hours.
The bread.
Okay, Frank, that's a weak answer, but I'm going to give mine.
Okay, what is your?
Growing up, I always used to love the original elongated Burger King chicken sandwich. It had this like peppery spite with the shredded lettuce and the mayo. Oh, it was so good. But that's not my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite is the legendary, now defunct Big Montana from Arby's, which used to be over a pound of roast beef, and it had its own plastic container, and it was it was massive. I mean, it was like I don't know, like docking the space shuttle to the International Space Station. It was massive.
Into your mouth.
Yeah, into your mouth. Yeah. It was, you had to pre-plan Vaseline on the corner to make sure. No, but it was phenomenal. It was an Arby's roast beef sandwich times 12 on crack. It was phenomenal. They no longer make it. But we're older now too, so we worry about our weight and and everything else and health and all that crap. But okay, single. Wendy's single. That's weak, but we'll take it.
It's a good one. I think it's just the marketing behind it. It was not.
Have you ever had a Baconator?
I have. I'm not a big fan.
Bacon has a tendency of overwhelming everything it's on in regard to flavor. I think anything with bacon tastes like bacon, and anything else with it's an afterthought.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Well done, Frank. That was wrapping up our first in stuff segment. Well done. And we'll be coming back here in a few days with our next, what's our next podcast about?
So the next podcast, we're going to be talking about working with some of our partners.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Another powerful episode.
Very powerful.
Will we have a treat for people to stick through to the end with that?
I believe so. We're going to have another stuff section in that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, our viewership is going to triple.
Skyrocket.
To 9.
To 9.
All right, Frank. Great input today. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care.